Hello, amazing business owners. Today's episode is going to be a little more raw than it usually is. Some things have happened in the boudoir photography industry. And even if you're not a boudoir photographer, I really, really want you to listen to this. There are some things that you need to hear, especially if you are newer and just starting out in your business and want to figure out how to make all of this work. I did this originally as a Facebook Live, so if you would prefer to view it on Facebook and see the full video, you are welcome to do so. It's facebook.com/businessstraightup, all one word. And this is also going to go on my YouTube channel as well. It is just a message that is crazy, crazy, crazy important. So it's going everywhere as much as possible. You can access YouTube at businessstraightup.com/YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers yet to have that pretty YouTube URL. So if you are feeling awesome and would love to subscribe, I would love to have you because I have to have 100 to get there. So I have well over 100 in the podcast, just not on YouTube yet. Today, we're going to talk about what to do when you're in a situation that doesn't feel right, that doesn't feel good, how to heal from that, how to rise up from that, how to grow your business without being in those situations, without saying yes to things that you know that you shouldn't, how to trust yourself. This is something that I see so many women especially struggle with, and it's really unfortunate that there are so many people out there who will take advantage of that, especially with women. So I want to warn you, there are tears in this episode. You're going to hear me talking funny if you're listening in audio because I definitely cried. There's a lot going on, and I just wanted to share my heart with you for a little bit. So this episode will sound a little different, and it's not a bad thing. It's just raw and real, and it's where I'm at. It's my heart. It's who I am, and it's what I want for you as well. So let's go ahead and have a listen. And if this episode resonates with you, if there's something that you are standing up with your earbuds in and going, yes, girl, yes, can you please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram in your Insta stories or on Instagram. My Instagram handle is businessstraightup, all one word. I would love to know what really resonated with you and what mattered to you in this episode, because this is kind of hard for me to put out there. I try not to be super emotional when I'm teaching, and it was just inevitable in this situation. So I would love to know your biggest takeaways, your ahas, and what you loved. So tag me on Instagram and let's have a listen. Hey there, awesome people. I am Brooke Summer, and you are listening to Business Straight Up, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn, connect, grow, and build the business and life that they dream of. Welcome, let's get going and dive right in. This is not my normal format, and I think anyone who follows me for any amount of time knows that, because I am very used to podcasting, and so video is a little foreign to me, but that's okay, because we're gonna talk, and there might be some tears today, and there might be some emotions, but that's okay, because we're gonna go through this. Hey, okay, now I can see comments. And I am going to kind of repeat your comments just because I'm going to turn this audio into a podcast episode. So Gina said, hi, Brooke. Kimberly said, hi, beautiful. Gina said, eCam. I will definitely look at eCam. Susan said, hello, gorgeous, cute office. Thank you. I try very hard to make my office a place where I feel good. Anita said, your smile makes me feel better already. Good. I'm glad that I can be a smile amongst all of this. So you're probably going to hear me repeat myself. There's a few things that I want to say over and over and over again, and I really want the world to hear it and everyone involved, even if you're not involved. First and foremost, what has happened with Do More, and I will go into details in a moment, but what has happened absolutely does not align with my business and my core values, and I am 100% not okay with it. do not accept it and will never be okay with what happened. So just to give some details for anyone that does not know, there are two pieces to all of this chaos that has happened in the last 48 hours or so. First, there was a very large Facebook group and forum and community of boudoir photographers called Do More Photographers. And it has basically imploded in the last 48 hours. First, because they weren't paying their educators appropriately. There were several amazing photographers that had contributed tutorials to the forum and to the shop because they wanted to help other photographers that were starting. And I kind of want to highlight that real quick because so many people have said, well, why would you even be a part of that? Why would you choose to be an educator? And that's the bottom line. That's why, because I personally, and I know other educators feel the same way, have been so immersed in boudoir and believe in it so completely that we wanted to help other photographers that were just starting out, because what boudoir does for women is unbelievably crazy amazing. And we wanted to help other photographers that were starting so that they could feel that too, so that they could impact people too. I was one of their educators, although when the shop launched, which is where educators could sell things like presets and stuff like that, I opted not to be a part of the shop. It didn't feel like a good fit for several reasons. And at the time, I didn't really know why. I didn't really acknowledge, I couldn't put it into words. I couldn't verbalize why it just didn't feel like a good fit. And there were a few reasons, but overall, it just didn't feel right. And so I opted not to. And earlier this year, when I was approached in early 2020 about doing more tutorials, at first I agreed, but then I kind of backed off because, again, something didn't feel right. And then this came to light that they weren't paying their educators. They weren't transparent in their business dealings. They were setting educators up for potential tax problems if they had paid options on the website. So I did not. My tutorial was available in the forum. I was not paid for it. And I stand by my tutorial. I taught SEO, and the information in there is solid. I still have it. And if you have taken that tutorial, I thank you for watching. And if you need more help, I'm always available. But second, and more importantly I mean, it's not unimportant that the educators weren't paid. Please don't misunderstand me. That is absolutely important. But even more alarming, I guess would be a better word. Several women have recently come forward with stories of sexual misconduct at the hands of one of the founders of Do More. It was headed up by a duo, a couple. And from what I understand, I was not a part of this, I'm just reading the stories, they would find newer photographers that fit a very specific aesthetic. They would encourage them to be educators, even as newer photographers. And in doing so, they would encourage them to shoot nude with one of the founders, or even erotica. And for anyone that's not in the boudoir space, erotica is a very racy form of boudoir. Usually these women would agree to do a session, and then they were pushed well beyond what they thought they were agreeing to into very uncomfortable and demeaning situations and poses, with their feedback either ignored or blown off entirely. Based on the stories that have been shared, they were often leaving the sessions in tears, these sessions that were supposed to be empowering. And they would walk out only to find others that had been through the same thing in tears too. Sorry. If the founders felt at any time that these women would come forward and share their stories, they would immediately start a smear campaign to try to discredit them up front. The amount of manipulation and grooming that went on is absolutely astounding. And as someone who has been through this myself and other circumstances, it's very upsetting. And you probably see my eyes darting off to the side. I did write out what I wanted to talk about. Otherwise, I would just cry to y'all. So this is a very high-level overview of what has happened. If you want more details, there are several videos from the people that were most involved that got out once they learned the details, and they have shared everything. So again, first and foremost, my core values and what I want for all of my clients and students is absolutely misaligned with what happened. My passion, what lights me up, what really fires me up like crazy is to empower women to know their value, embrace their worth. I do that with both of my businesses in different ways. On the boudoir side, it's through boudoir portraits. And on the teaching side, it's to inspire women to grow in their business skills so they can support themselves and their families doing what they love. Both of my businesses are built on empowering women, and even some guys, to step into the best version of themselves, regardless of external circumstances or people. And all of this is not only crazy heartbreaking, but infuriating to me. Second, I want you to know that while I wasn't in the inner circle of do more because of my feelings and intuition and not pursuing that further, I am feeling this hardcore, and I can't imagine what other people are feeling. It feels like I was a part of it because I was an educator, because I had helped and networked in the group. I had reached out to people in the group to try and help them. And I feel like I was part of the process that was used to get these women into vulnerable positions, which is what makes this so fucking difficult and really, really, really hard. I know that so many of the educators and the admins feel the same way, and these stories have literally made us sick. And when I say literally, I mean it in the actual dictionary sense of the word. And we have been watching women come forward and feeling that gut punch every time. And while it hurts us immensely, I cannot even imagine what those women went through and the amount of turmoil that they have been feeling. And that is really the main focus in all of this. Ultimately, people who were newer to the industry were the ones targeted because they didn't know any better. And quite frankly, I can't say that I would have been immune to it either several years ago when I was just starting in boudoir. I was that person years ago, the person that wanted to please people, that would scour YouTube and Google and Facebook looking for ways to grow my business. That was me. There were people that I looked up to as well, and while most of them were female, this was a very unique situation with a couple that included a female who basically recruited these women for a predator. These people were influencers, they were educators, they had spoken at several large photography conferences. I actually attended one of their WPPI classes, and they were looked up to and they were trusted. And when you're just starting out and an influencer contacts you and wants to encourage you to help grow your business, you're gonna say yes, right? I know I would have. And I've been thinking about what I want to say in this video and this episode for a couple of days now, and one message keeps coming to mind over and over again. And part of me is like, well, that's silly, that's dumb. But I've learned that when something keeps appearing in my brain over and over and over again, that I shouldn't ignore it and that it's meant to be shared. So I'm gonna say it in two ways, one for the boudoir photographers, one for the non-boudoir people. For the boudoir photographers or aspiring boudoir photographers, you do not have to get naked or do things that feel shitty to learn from amazing educators in your industry. And if you're not a boudoir photographer and you're listening to this, let me rephrase. You do not have to ignore your personal boundaries to learn and grow your business, no matter what industry you're in. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Boudoir photography is inherently an industry that requires vulnerability and trust. But really, this goes for any industry. Know your boundaries. Listen to your heart, your gut, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. Listen to it. Yes, moving forward in your business requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. One of my mentors constantly reminds me, says that what got you here won't get you there. And it's very, very true. Moving into a new zone of genius to move to the next level in your business is absolutely required. And discomfort is one thing. But we all know that there are different kinds of discomfort. There's the kind that is scary and you're nervous, but you're also excited. And it feels excited like butterflies, like a new relationship. You aren't really sure what the hell is going to happen next, but you know it will be scary and awesome at the same time. And then there's the kind of discomfort that just feels gross. I actually talk with my clients about this before their session because I want them to know that I will never ask them to do something that makes them feel gross. And if I do, by accident, I want them to tell me. We have this conversation before we even start shooting. And I've had some male students push back on this. When it comes to being female or people who identify as female in our culture, We all know this. Women always know what I'm talking about. I feel like as women, we have all been in situations where we get that feeling that's just gross. The icky, the shady, the scary, the feeling that you're not okay with this. And if you feel that feeling, there is a reason. Even if it doesn't involve any nudity, even if you're not a boudoir photographer, if you are ever asked to do something where you feel that feeling, stop. Listen to your gut. Respect your boundaries. Trust yourself and your intuition. You are so much stronger than you know. And you can absolutely say no, even if the person asking you to do something that feels shady is a high-level influencer or educator. If something isn't a hell yes, it's a no. Maybe you're encouraged to participate in a photo session where you feel like something's not right. Maybe you've been asked to collaborate with someone that doesn't really align with your values. Maybe you're facing a decision presented from an influencer with a massive following and you know that it's not quite right. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Living your life with integrity, which includes running your business with integrity, will not only keep you safe, but will avoid some serious fallout from situations like this in the future. Now, to be clear, I don't blame these women at all. And I realize that in saying this, it may sound like I'm telling them they should have said no, and I don't at all. As I said, I probably would have done it too. I can't say I would have been immune to it when I was starting out either, because I wanted to grow my business. And if someone reached out to me and said, hey, you want to do this? I probably would have been like, sure, because that's what we want, right? We want to grow our businesses to impact people, to grow and not only support ourselves and our families, but also to change women's lives, maybe men's, depending on what you do, to bring a little bit of joy into someone's life, to help them to challenge what they know, to help them to think about things a little differently. These people, this couple, they were master manipulators, and they were extremely good at skewing the facts to confuse and belittle and demean the people who were involved. I am telling you this, all of you, that I'm fortunate to interact with daily, because I want you to know your power. I want you to know that you do not ever have to ignore your personal boundaries to learn and grow your business, ever. Never. And anyone that's asking you to do so in a way that makes you feel gross is not someone you want to be doing business with anyway. If it makes you feel gross, leave. Say no. Even if it's not about nudity, even if it's not about sexual misconduct, ever, never, ever compromise your truth. Trust yourself. There are amazing people out there who want to inspire and educate and encourage you. And the steps that they ask you to take might make you a little uncomfortable. Things like raising your prices, stepping into a role that you haven't been in before, or putting yourself out there for your business, maybe on social, maybe showing up on video, and you're like, I don't want to do that. That might make you uncomfortable, but they should never make you feel gross. They should never make you feel shady or make you feel like something is wrong. Even as a new business owner, you are powerful and worth everything that you want to achieve in your life and your business. Own that power and embrace it. If you were a part of this manipulation and need help, please reach out. You are also powerful. They don't get to take that from you. Never. And there are so many people who will stand with you and help you. If you were not a part of this manipulation, but have been watching from the sidelines, or can think of other situations that you may have seen or heard of, take a few minutes and remind yourself that you are powerful, that you do not have to do things that make you uncomfortable, that you do not have to ignore your personal boundaries in a way that makes you feel awful to grow your business ever. If you feel something bad, believe it. Don't ignore it, and trust yourself. What you do matters. The gift that you have been given to bring into this world to impact other people matters. Never let anyone dull that with their fuckery. Never. And if you have If you've been in that situation, and I have too, this is not a finger point, okay? This is a handhold. This is a let's stand together. If you have been a part of that, learn from it so you can rise above and impact others in a beautiful way. You have a right and a responsibility to pull that gift out of the depths of your heart. If you've been hiding it, dust it off and make that shit shine so that you can impact the people around you. And in doing so, you have a right to thrive and create abundance in your life so that you can support yourself and your family in whatever way you choose. I really want to stop crying before I say this last word. Sorry, I need just a moment. You are powerful. You matter. You are valuable. You are a badass. You are worth everything that you want in your life, no matter what has happened to you in the past. And I can't wait to see what you do in the world. Don't ever dim that, whether you've been a part of this or not. Never, ever, ever dim that. And I just want to ask you, as the women that are watching, listening, however you're seeing this, can you remind me of that sometimes too? Sometimes we all need to hear that, right? What has happened these past 48 hours, and actually for years now, is not okay. And it will never be okay. And it takes really, really strong women to stand up and say, you know what, this is what happened, and I'm not going to let it happen to someone else. You are powerful. You matter. And I can't wait to see what you do in the world. I have to keep saying that over and over again. Let me fix my tears. Damn it, I even put on mascara. Let me fix my tears. We'll look at the comments. Kimberly said, you are handling this and expressing these truths with such grace. Crying with you. Thank you for talking about this. You are so amazing. Kimberly, you are amazing, my dear. You are growing so much in your business. I watch. It's so amazing. Thank you for your comment. And Susan said, you are so badass. Funny story, I've actually taught Alexa to call me badass, so it's kind of cool when I ask her the weather in the morning, and she said, have a good day, badass. And I'm like, thanks, you too. This is obviously a very emotional topic, and it's something that is, I feel like, happening too often in our world in general, and a boudoir is supposed to be an empowering place, and for this to happen in the midst of that is heartbreaking. So I have one more final reminder because it needs to be said again. You are powerful and you matter and you are a badass. You are a fierce fucking force of nature, no matter what has happened to you in the past. And I can't wait to see what you do in the world. Don't ever let yourself dim whatever has been put inside of you, because if you want it, there's a reason. If you feel it, there's a reason. Trust yourself. I hope that you all have just an amazing day today, an amazing week amidst all the chaos that's going on. Man, 2020 has been a year, huh? And we're gonna make it awesome. We got 6 months and we're gonna rock it and kick ass. So have an amazing day. Remember, what you do matters. And if I can help in any way, please reach out. Thank you so much for being here today, for pushing play, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much for listening to Business Straight Up. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Check out the show notes for this and all of the episodes at businessstraightuppodcast.com. And I can't wait to talk with you again. Have a great day.